Stopping in front of his house, I glanced around, wanting to get out, but couldn't for fear Austin would show up any moment. I sucked in a large breath and asked myself, do I really want to do this? I mumbled. Did I want to be in the middle of a breakup, and perhaps be the cause of the destruction of Austin and Grayle's whatever the fuck they had together? At this point, what could I say but, hell yes. I didn't pretend to understand how any man could stay away so long from a sexy, handsome man like Grayle. I sat longer in my car, trying to dig up an excuse for Grayle's sudden interest in me. If I had a man like Austin missing, and then he fucked Zach, I'd fuck around too. However, Grayle didn't know about Zach. Then, why is he contacting me now? I thought. It wasn't as if Austin was exclusive with Grayle, but as far as Grayle knew, Austin was monogamous with him. I couldn't tell him that I saw him fucking Zach. What the fuck was I to do? Maybe Grayle had no intentions of leaving Austin, and he wanted to just have a friendly chat with me. Apologize for being a dick, and a nice one at that? Yeah, right. What man contacts a man he knows who's just sucked his cock and wants a friendly chat? Who has a friendly chat with a man who's recently sucked your dick? Came swirling back through my mind. Before I could reach for the handle, someone tapped on the window, and I jumped and turned. I hit a button and the window eased down, and staring at me with a sexy smile was Grayle. My heart skipped several beats, because my cock wanted to be satisfied by no other than Grayle Meadows. Are you going to sit in the car all night, until my neighbor calls the police and reports you as a stalker? If you want to stalk me tonight, I'm down with that, but what do you say if we save that for another day? He smiled and opened the door. I hit the button, raised the window, and locked the door. Gray extended his hand and stared at me. I placed my palm inside his, and he squeezed it, and led me inside his home without a word between us. As we entered the foyer, Gray said, Alexa, turn the lights low and play Body and Soul by Amy Winehouse and Tony Bennett. The lights lowered, and the music began to play as Gray led me into the main room. When we reached that room, he turned, holding my hand, and brought me into his arms as the sound of the artists' voices created the perfect storm for two men in love. I wrapped both arms around his neck, with Gray's body flush against mine. I felt his erection hard and pulsating with mine to match. I felt his heart hammering in his chest, then I felt his warm lips kiss the side of my face, and when he sang those beautiful words, my legs weakened. My heart is sad and lonely for you. I sigh all for you, body and soul. He had me there, and I'd do anything for him, even be the other man if he'd asked that of me, even when I'd said that it would be a bridge too far. When the song ended and we stood holding each other and the oxygen returned to my brain, I said, "What's that wonderful smell?" When I'm not at my law practice, seeing to my father, and entertaining so I can be near a beautiful young man, I cook. It's chicken Alfredo, Augustine's receipt. I thought you'd want something light before or after we talked. He aimed a devilishly sexy smile my way. The lights were low, but when I pulled away to chase the smell and I strode into the light, Gray said, "You're much more handsome than I thought. You looked pretty when I first met you in that ice cream shop. Now you look like a man. Something must have changed you since I last saw you a week ago. You saw a boy 2 years ago. I've matured since then. I'm 25 and a man now. I was trying to get that out in the open. I wasn't a teenager or in college, but a man who knew what I wanted, and that was him." Grayle leaned in and gave me a light kiss, and then a deeper kiss. I opened my mouth and the kisses came hard, hot and... "Don't go. Stay with me tonight." It was Sunday, and nothing was happening until the grand opening, and that would be in a few weeks. I stayed and we showered and ate, then I climbed into bed with Grayle. He assured me that this was a new bed, and Austin had never slept in it. He made me feel as if it was our bed. When I lay in his arms, I looked over at him with all kinds of questions. Why did you want me to make love to you in that way? Because the last time you made sure I had an orgasm, and I wanted you to have yours. I also want to let you know that I'm yours if you want me. I'm all yours, body and soul. How could I not want that man? When I woke the next morning in his arms, his phone rang. He looked at it, turned and reached over to check the number, and then answered the phone. He had the speaker on, and I heard the conversation. Hi Stephanie, what's wrong? You did get your money for cleaning the flat, didn't you? It's not about that. You've been great, but it's Austin. Gray narrowed his brow and shifted and looked at me. I didn't want to hear that name. Not now. Not when I was getting ready to fuck Gray with my morning hard-on. Gray shifted but kept me close in his arms. I took the opportunity to suck his nipple, and he pretended to swat me away. The woman had paused, and then she said, Austin said that he'd be back from his trip and he hasn't returned. It's been a week. I talked to him last night, and he assured me that he'd be in New York by now. Why are you worried about Austin? Gray's brow furrowed. Because I'm pregnant, and he said that he would tell you. Why does that concern me? You can work as long as you want. She cut Gray off. Because the baby is Austin's.